Here we are, Venus retrograde 2023, and this is everything you need to know. I am going to be going over Venus retrograde in Leo, what you need to know, and also a forecast for all 12 astrological signs, so you won't want to miss this. Stay tuned till the end. Hi, I'm Gretchen Heidel, full-time astrologer, and I am going over Venus retrograde 2023. We are here, and it is going to be starting on July 22nd, 2023 at 9:33 p.m. Eastern Time in the United States here. So plus or minus that wherever you live currently. And it's going to be going on all the way until almost Labor Day, September 3rd, 2023 at 9:20 p.m. Eastern Time. So July 22nd to September 3rd. This is a lot, and there's a lot of things going on with this particular Venus retrograde, and I thought it'd be fun to do an in-depth Venus retrograde, what you need to know. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to go over the basics of Venus retrograde and specific things that this particular Venus retrograde is going to go through. So different transits and other planets that Venus retrograde is highlighting, so that we can be prepared and know kind of what is going on. And then at the end, I'm going to be going over all 12 astrological signs and the forecast for you guys individually, because that's what everybody wants to know, right? Like, what does this mean for me? Well, I decided to record that. Now, the cool thing is that I'm going to create timestamps, or sometimes they're called chapters. So if you look in the show notes below, you will see that you can fast forward to your particular astrological sign and just listen to that sign if you choose to. However, I am going to be going over some of the things that are happening that I'm going to be covering in the beginning of this video. So you want to make sure you watch the beginning of this video first and then listen to your specific astrological sign, because I'm going to be referencing a lot of the things that I'm talking about in the beginning. Okay, so here we are, Venus retrograde in Leo. It's starting at 28 degrees Leo, and you know retrogrades mean to go backwards, so it's going to go back all the way to 12 degrees in Leo. And I like to tell everybody that because I have people who watch these videos that are novices and also people who are experienced in astrology, and I like to give you guys, you know, sort of what the deal is with the degree. Just know that it's going to be all occurring in Leo. The beginning of the retrograde, the Venus retrograde, is actually sort of a mixed kind of bag, and I'll be going over that and what this all means. But Venus retrograde in Leo, you know, Venus in Leo, if you have Venus Leo natally, you will be feeling this like that you'll be ground zero. Or again, by opposition, you'll be feeling this if you have Venus in Aquarius, you'll be getting your, you know, your Venus opposition. Now, if you are a sun sign Leo, Mercury Leo, any other planets in Leo, all of the Leo is going to be highlighted, and it is good to know what area of your chart, meaning what house Leo is in order to know how this will affect you on a personal level. Just know that Venus in Leo is rather bold, rather like in our face and into adoration, into gifts, into, you know, having like a big, grand, dramatic show of love. That's what Venus in Leo loves. And we've had Venus in Leo for a while now, and so now we're just getting into the retrograde part of it. And so that means we're going to be having this big, long, extended Venus in Leo time frame. Make sure that you give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'd love to hear from you. What is your Venus sign, your natal Venus sign, and how do you experience Venus retrograde? Venus in Leo is going to be active all the way from June 5th until October 8th. So this is a very long extended stay for Venus. Venus is usually in each astrological sign for 1 month. So for it to be in Leo for all this time, we're getting an extended stay, extra homework, extra lessons, all these kind of things with Venus in Leo. And again, Venus in Leo is very proud, very egotistical. Venus in Leo really wants to feel special and adored and have lots of praise, lots of adoration. You really can't go too over the top. Venus is in Leo. We really are looking to feel special and adored and praised and all of those things. So that can be a little bit egotistical because if you think about it, this particular Venus sign is ruled by the sun. Leo is ruled by the sun, and everything revolves around the sun. So it can be a little bit in relationships like, I want to feel special. No, I want to feel special. And everybody's kind of looking to have, you know, this sort of adoration and praise and all of that. And it can be a little bit of an egotistical time frame. It's very creative as well. When we look at Venus, Venus was the goddess of love and beauty. She was Aphrodite in Greek mythology. She loves love, okay? And she also loves creativity. She loves expensive, beautiful items. And also, secondarily, she has a correlation with finances. So when we look at Leo in our chart, Venus in Leo, where, first of all, natally is your Venus sign, and that will tell you a lot about how you love, how you express your sensuality, how you feel adored, how you like to love others and express yourself. And so it's very important to know what's going on with your Venus natally, but also in the skies, the transit of Venus, Venus transiting also will influence us as well. And that's where she is right now. She's in Leo and she's going to be doing her thing and her retrograde-ness at her finest. So we need to have, we'll have these life lessons right now, and it's going to be a late summer of love life lesson. Venus in retrograde can be very similar to Mercury retrograde in the fact that it brings back exes, okay? So Mercury retrograde can have exes returning and Venus retrograde can have exes returning. The reason why I keep focusing on this, and I've been talking about this since the beginning of the year, is that it is very important anytime one of the personal planets, meaning one of the planets that's the closest to Earth, it's a retrograde cycle, we feel it much more strongly than, let's say, the outer planets like Pluto and Neptune and all those types of planets. We feel them, but we don't feel them quite as strongly as we do when the personal planets go retrograde. And this is as personal as it gets because it's in our love zone. And so if you're single and you're looking, now is not an amazing time to find somebody unless it's somebody from your past or has a tie or a connection to your past in some way. It can be a past lover, it can be a past sweetheart and all those things. I always just say, if you're entertaining an ex or entertaining getting back together with an ex, what has changed? That's my big question. What has changed? If you're in a partnership or if you're in something complicated, it could get quite a bit more complicated because Venus retrograde is like a stress test. You know, we're going back and we're reviewing, hey, what about, do I really feel that special? Are you really even doing anything for me? And like all that kind of stuff is going to be brought up. Almost always, every single Venus retrograde, there's a really, really big sort of famous couple that breaks up during Venus retrograde. So we'll have to see what ends up happening. This Venus retrograde starts out in the middle of, there's a lot of stuff going on in that chunk of time. She goes retrograde on July 22nd, but the July 20th, 21st, and 23rd have some really difficult astrological energies surrounding the Venus retrograde, the beginning. But Venus herself is forming a lovely trine with the north node of the moon. Now, if you saw my last broadcast this week in astrology, I covered what it means for Aries. The north node of the moon just moved into Aries. So you might want to watch that after this video is over. It's interesting because that is our destiny. North node of the moon is our destiny and what we're meant to do. So there's some fated events going on during this time frame when Venus retrograde starts, all the way from July 21st to July 26th in the very beginning of Venus retrograde. Astrology surrounding the start of the retrograde is kind of funky and actually pretty difficult. The sun is opposing Pluto, Mars is opposing Saturn. We have this lovely trine. So actually we could be having maybe some good stuff in our love life happening right now. And a lot of times whenever something sort of ignites around Venus connecting with the north node of the moon, there could be something fated about love right now, or there could be a sense of destiny with it. And for sure, this could have even a past life connection or something from your literal past. But a lot of times there's a karmic fated sort of thing going on. Other thing is on July 27th, Venus is going to form a lovely conjunction with Mercury, and that's a great time to talk, communicate, express yourself, all those types of things during that time as well. So the beginning part of the retrograde actually starts out pretty good. And then it gets a little funkalicious. Around I would say a span of like August 7th to August 10th, specifically the 8th and the 9th, is a really big hotspot for Venus. And that is where there could be the announcement of fights, breakups, all kinds of things. You could experience that in your own personal life. And I do always say that Venus is all about our romantic, like who we're interested in romantically. But remember, Venus is relationships too. So this could be a relationship with a best friend, somebody that's important in your life that maybe isn't romantic, but this can affect that. And what's going to happen between this time frame of August 7th, 2023 to August 10th, Venus is going to form a conjunction with Lilith, Black Moon Lilith, in Leo. And then she's going to form a square with Uranus in Taurus. The thing about the Venus square Uranus is interesting because this is happening for 3 times while Venus is in Leo. She is going to square Uranus 3 times. So the first time it happened on July 2nd. So what was going on in your life around July 2nd, the 2nd of July? Then it's going to happen, the peak of it or the height of it is on August 9th. And then again on September 29th is going to be the third and final time. That's unusual for her to have these squares and for them to be all in the same sign like this. And again, this is all happening because of her being retrograde. And remember, retrograde means they go direct, the planets, they stop, and then they go backwards, and that's the retrograde, and then they stop, and then they go forward again, and that's the direct. So because of this, this is very erratic. All of a sudden during this hot spot of August, and it's good to write these dates down, there's going to be something shocking and also extremely intense around this time because Lilith, I always say Black Moon Lilith has a lot of sort of feelings, the same feelings that we get during Pluto transits. It's very dark. It's very intense. It can be trigger-ish a little bit. It can be betrayal. It can be lies. I mean, there can be a lot of things with Venus highlighting Black Moon Lilith. And then Uranus is something shocking from out of nowhere comes to the surface. So that hot spot could be really ouchy. So we want to watch that, especially in our love lives and this is our personal lives. I mean, it's very rarely a coworker or something like that with Venus. It's usually like somebody that's personal in our life. There is some good news coming right after that between like August 12th and August 17th. On August 13th, Venus is going to form a conjunction with the sun, and that's amazing. And that is like really, really positive and beneficial. It sucks that it's retrograde at the time that it's happening, but Venus conjunct the sun is going to make us feel really good. Like all of a sudden, when we get past that spot, when Black Moon Lilith gets activated and we get past the Uranus thing, then all of a sudden we get our mojo back and we start to feel it a little bit better. We get a little bit more confident again. That's going to be on August 13th, August 14th. At the same time, Venus trine Chiron. Now Chiron's in Aries, so Venus is in Leo, and that's a trine, which is very positive. So not only do we have the confidence from Venus forming the conjunction with the sun, but then we get an infusion of healing energy. That could be very good to get our mojo back. And then right after that, on August 16th, the new moon is happening in Leo. That's going to be taking place at 23 degrees Leo. See, all of this stuff is happening in the Leo sector. So we're going to be talking about what all this means for each and every one of the specific signs. But the new moon in Leo is going to be at a wide conjunction with Venus. And so that's going to be helpful too, because we're going to get an infusion, a renewal of energy. So I really feel like Venus retrograde has like kind of like this really like hump to get over, and then we get into this like lovely little bubble territory. Like I said, between the time of August 12th and August 17th, that week is much more positive, especially with the new moon, the sun conjunction, and all that stuff. I think it's going to be really nice, and it's going to be a renewal of some love energies that might have gotten messed up during that previous week. When we start to get into later in the month, like roughly between August 21st and 24th, Venus forms a square with Jupiter in Taurus. And so that's going to be, the peak of it is going to be August 22nd. But like I said, we'll feel it between the 21st and the 24th. You know, that is not a bad, whenever Venus and Jupiter get together, no matter in what way, shape, or form, a trine, a square, opposition, whatever, it's not too terrible. And that's the case with this. The only thing is, there's something about this square that's very awkward feeling. It's almost like we could get a little too ahead of ourselves or a little too excited about something. We could assume, like, let's say you meet somebody new and you get like really excited, and then you're like, oh, like, let's hang out Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday and Friday. And they're like, too much, like Jupiter is too much of a good thing. And even though that could be fun, that could also be awkward. Like, oh, I didn't realize, like, do you think we're dating? We're not actually dating, like it could be something awkward where we are assuming too much, or they're assuming too much, and then we have to kind of backpedal a little bit. Also, this can be an overindulgence in purchases, in food, in other words, Venus loves to feel good. And Jupiter's like, well, if we eat one slice of cake, it will feel even better to eat 10 slices of cake, and so we have to watch that. Much, in other words, overindulgence. If it feels good to drink one glass of wine, oh, let's just drink 10, and too much of a good thing can be a bad thing too. And so we have to watch that around that time of just wanting to feel good, wanting to eat or drink away our emotions, wanting to go overboard with love, or getting way too excited or too ahead of ourselves. And we want to really check in with our partner and talk to our partner and be like, hey, are we on the same page here? That kind of thing. Now, right after that, the other thing about that time, I want to call that time awkward, where the last week was like kind of lovely and positive, like as far as the sun conjunction, the new moon, and all that. The next day, on August 23rd, that's when Mercury goes retrograde. Mercury's going to go retrograde in Virgo. Doesn't have anything to do with Venus, other than now we have two personal planets retrograde at the same time. And now things can get real interesting, because it's like exes on top of exes on top of exes. Like, we could be really hearing from people in the past at this point. This is really where things are slowing down and things are really awkward now with the communication and our love lives. It's like all at once, and so we really want to sort of watch ourselves, especially since Jupiter is being highlighted here and can really overdo it. It's too much. Then after that, we have that lovely blue moon, full moon coming at the end of August, August 30th in Pisces, 7 degrees Pisces. That particular full moon, it's interesting, the two full moons on August 1st and on August 30th really don't highlight Venus very much during that time. So I'm not really going to spend too much time on the broadcast talking about that, but be aware that they're going to be happening during all this Venus retrograde stuff, which is very interesting. So that is basically what is happening during this Venus retrograde, and then it gets pretty quiet towards the end of the retrograde as we just go into the first couple days of September. And then on September 3rd at 9:20 p.m. Eastern time, Venus retrograde will be over. Remember that the retrogrades don't just, like I say, stop and start. Venus has been in the pre-shadow. The pre-shadow started all the way back on June 19th. And the post-shadow will be until October 7th. When we look at Venus retrograde, there's a couple things we don't want to do. Like I said, on my other videos, we don't want to have any cosmetic surgery. We don't want to experiment with new cosmetic procedures new to us, like fillers or tummy tuck or any kind of thing like that. We just don't want to do things that we haven't like done before. If you're having, let's say, your hair done and you're getting the same style and the same color and all that and the same stylist, you're going to be fine. In fact, I'm getting my hair done during Venus retrograde, but it's the same of everybody. So that's a big no-no though, to have new cosmetic procedures during this time. And for sure, any kind of cosmetic surgery, I personally wouldn't schedule any cosmetic surgery during a Venus retrograde, like liposuction or facelift, any kind of thing like that. No way would I do that. The other thing is doing any kind of major like redecorating. That could be a thing where you buy a color of paint, you don't like it, you're gonna have to go take it back, that sort of thing. Like, get all your paint colors ahead of time before Venus goes retrograde, or even do it during some of this more positive time, like the August 12th to 17th period. That's a really positive time for Venus. So that could be good to do if you're going to do some decorating or picking out paint colors or something. That's like a nice safe bubble in there to do that. And like I said, with the exes, it's okay to date an ex, obviously, as long as things have changed and what are your expectations, what are their expectations and all that. Meeting new people during Venus retrograde, it's not as much of a hard rule. Like Mercury retrograde, I wouldn't date anybody new. But Venus retrograde is kind of like, just proceed with caution, I guess. I would say that's more of like a yellow flag. So those are some things, some guidelines to keep, keep things going well in your life. And yes, it is a time to reevaluate love, reevaluate our decor, reevaluate even our finances a little bit. There's a financial factor with Venus sometimes too. She can be expensive. Girlfriend has very expensive taste. We will just say that. So it's something that we want to keep in mind. Now, I am going to go over for all 12 astrological signs. If you are watching this and you want to fast forward ahead, make sure that you're watching your rising sign if you know your rising sign. If you don't know your rising sign, then watch your sun sign, or you could watch both your sun and your rising. And if you have a special someone, a friend or somebody that you want, you can watch their rising sign too. But I would watch it in that order. Rising sign might be more accurate for you. And then if you have an interest in doing your sun sign as well, that's perfectly fine. Go ahead and check out in the description where the timestamps are, and then you can click on your rising sign to know fully how this will be affecting you on a personal level. This does not stand in for any kind of direct astrological advice, because I don't know your chart personally. Everybody's chart is just a little bit different. And also, if it doesn't resonate with you, follow your own intuition. I always tell everybody, follow their own intuition. This is just merely a guideline. Enjoy. Hello, Aries rising and or Aries sun sign. Welcome. This is your astrological forecast for this particular Venus retrograde in 2023. You have a very interesting Venus retrograde, and all of this activity in Leo is highlighting your Aries energy, specifically in the beginning part, especially the north node of the moon. Right now, Venus retrograde is in your area of love and flings and feeling creative, and even in your area of children. So this is going to be your area of homework during this particular retrograde. You're going to be analyzing and figuring out what's going on with your kiddos, with your creative sense, and or with anybody in your life that you're having a fling with, or that you have a flirt with, or a crush. This is the area of love, the feeling of love. And it's going to be highlighting the north node of the moon, which just moved into your area of self. And so you're really learning about the connection between yourself and how you love and who you love and all those things. And it's imperative for you to remember self-love during this particular Venus retrograde. Everybody should remember that, but especially Aries rising or Aries sun sign. And that's how the initial Venus retrograde for you is going to really be kicking off and starting. I think it's going to be a lovely thing. And especially since on the 27th of July, you're going to get a really nice communication with somebody special. It's just going to be like a lovely day or time for you, like the 26th, 27th, 28th, around that bubble, to communicate. You're going to have positive communications, and it's like just communications of love. And I think that's really very special. It's a nice sort of treat to encounter that in your astrological chart. Especially, I will say this, kind of watch, because this particular full moon for you, Aries, on August 1st is going to be in the sign of Aquarius. In your chart, it's going to be highlighting something going on. And remember, full moons are endings. Something is going on in your area of friendships. And so there could be a little bit of a kind of strife happening in that department around this time. So just use caution, because, you know, full moons can have some heightened energy associated with it. Now, when we get to this bubble that we have going on, this kind of ouchy bubble between roughly August 7th and August 10th, between that week there, you got to really watch, because there is trouble and on the horizon, especially if you're having a fling with somebody, or, you know, a flirtation or something like that. There could really be a miscommunication in that department, or even sort of some jealousy, or some, you know, like either someone being jealous towards you or you being jealous towards them. Like the word betrayal sort of comes out at me thinking about that, because it's an ouch, this is ouchy energy. And you could also additionally get some kind of unexpected or shocking news about money during this time. So watch your finances, okay? Make sure you're keeping track of what's going on in your bank account and all of that. And I would say try, you know, obviously use your best judgment in your life. I mean, this is a generalized reading for Aries rising people or Aries sun. But I would say use your own judgment around this time and your own intuition, but also try not to assume the worst in people. It is a time that there could really be a real betrayal, but I would kind of try to also make sure that you're assuming not always the negative. I mean, during that bubble of time, you really have to watch that. This particular, when Venus get some healing energy, you know, from Chiron, I think once we get into the week of like August 12th, even until August 17th, we're going to be having all of this lovely energy. You're going to have that new moon. And again, all of this is in the area of love, children, creativity. And I should say this is also pets that we consider to be loved ones or babies. It's not like you're a giraffe or, you know, like or some kind of wild animal. It's an animal that you love as a baby or a child in your life. And so there could be some positive, it's almost like a reset in this. A lot of this energy that you're experiencing is all about remembering self-love. Self-love is the most important thing. And no matter what happens with somebody else being kind of a fool in your life, if you had a little strife around August 10th or so, remember that you 100% of the time have gotten through your own life's problems, and you are the one that you can trust. You can trust yourself. And so that is a big thing for you, Aries, during this time. Also remember that when it comes to Mercury retrograde, Mercury is going to be going retrograde in your area of health. So you want to make sure that you really take good care of yourself during this time. Chiron will help you with on August 14th, Chiron's getting highlighted in your chart, so that's healing. And then Mercury retrograde's reminding you now this time around to really take very good care of yourself and your health, because if you have been overdoing it, as most Aries do overdo things, you want to be able to come back into your body and remember that's what this Mercury retrograde is going to be all about for you. Now, during this particular full moon in your chart, that is also reminding you to rest. So you have Mercury retrograde reminding you to take good care of yourself as far as healthy habits, like whatever you do to eat well and exercise and all that. That's what this is going to be about, is learning to also rest and recuperate and renew yourself during that particular full moon coming at the end of August, which is also a blue moon. So overall, I feel like for you, this Venus retrograde is not going to be too terrible, as long as you remember to have a lot of self-love and to rely, Aries life lesson is to rely on yourself anyway. This could actually be quite kind of a fun, flirtatious Venus retrograde for you. I will say that. I mean, and you could end up having a lot of people coming in that want to fling or want to tryst if you're single. And remember to, if you're in a partnership, if you have a husband or wife or whatever, spouse, a significant other, that you remember to ignite those feelings of love. We have to remember to date our partner again, and that's what this review is about. Like, how much fun are you really having? I mean, Venus is retrograde in your area of fun. So no, your fun isn't retrograde, but you got to remember how do you have fun? How do you play? How do you experience joy? So I'm going to pull one card for you for Aries rising or Aries sun sign. And what do you need to know about this particular Venus retrograde? What do you need to know? Ooh, okay. Well, I did say that August 1st, is this full moon in your area of friends, and you did get choose friends wisely. So during this particular Venus retrograde, Aries rising, you need to choose your friends wisely. And, there's this famous quote that I love by Jim Rohn, that we are the lump sum of the 5 people that we spend the most amount of time with. And that is a good reminder for you guys to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with really good people. Hello, Taurus or Taurus rising. Here I'm going over your Venus retrograde astrological forecast for 2023. So Taurus rising or Tauruses, you guys are experiencing Venus in your area of home and family. Venus retrograde love lessons are going to be familial love lessons for you, Taurus. You have a quiet Venus retrograde. I'm just going to say that first of all. Out of a lot of the signs, you have a more quiet one. It could be quite the ruckus in your area of home and family, like with family barbecues or family get-togethers, or reconnecting with family that you haven't connected with for a while. Family needs love too, and familial relationships need love and connection and time. So this is about you spending time and reconnecting with your children or your pets, or even cousins or nephews or nieces or whatever, whoever in your family. That's where a lot of all this energy is going to be taking place. Now, in the very beginning of this Venus retrograde, it's going to be highlighting the north node of the moon, which just moved into Aries. And in your chart, it's going to be highlighting your Venus retrograde is interesting because a lot of it is taking place behind closed doors. The north node of the moon in your chart right now, if your Taurus rising is in your area of rest, renew, rejuvenate, restore, behind the scenes, and being at home is behind the scenes. So you actually have like kind of a restful Venus retrograde. Here you're reminded to sort of get connected with your spirituality, get connected with subconsciously and unconsciously, your patterns, your relational patterns, especially with the familial relations. Let's just say it out loud. Nobody can quite trigger us like our family. So you are being asked, especially in the beginning of this retrograde, to think about your unconscious mind, your subconscious mind, your patterns that you've had, especially when you deal with family. And this is about sort of starting to understand. You might have crazy dreams around this time too, very vivid dreams, dreams that are sort of even maybe visitation dreams from a deceased loved one. But you have like a lot of connections going on in that area. Now, this Venus conjunction with Mercury during July 27th, 2023 is really going to kick up talking to family members or people who you love as family, like whoever your clan is, your tribe, you know, even if it's a bestie that you consider to be like a family member. And or neighbors, like people that are around your home, because this is home and family. So remember, it's also could be real estate too. So you might be thinking about during this Venus retrograde, decorating and kind of redoing the house or even refinancing and things like that. I would say it's safer to refinance during Venus retrograde than it is Mercury retrograde. I know it has RE in front of it, and the general rule of thumb is you want to do anything beginning with RE during Mercury retrograde, but I don't like refinancing or doing loan paperwork during Mercury retrograde. So if you're thinking about doing it, do it during this time versus waiting for the Mercury retrograde to start, because that's going to start on August 23rd, all the way until September 15th. So don't do it then, do it before then. However, remember, you want to avoid doing any big thing during roughly August 7th to August 10th. Venus is going to form a conjunction with Lilith, and then Venus is also going to be square Uranus in your chart. This could be some real intense energy in this home and family department for you. That's a hot spot. You know, like let's say you reconnect with somebody and all of a sudden, like, I don't know, somebody you weren't talking to in your family starts connecting and like wants to hear from you. I don't know, like it could be something icky like that, like somebody that you didn't want to talk to and it was like, oh God, I just opened Pandora's box because I called Susie Q's nephew's uncle, whatever, and then they showed up, you know, or something like that. And this is kind of could even be shocking news that comes in around this time, especially in reference to your family. You could actually have a shocking, and it could even, for some Tauruses and some Taurus rising watching this broadcast, could even have you questioning your own identity, like, who am I compared to these people? You know, the family, like, was I adopted? You know, did somebody come over? You know, it's one of those types of things. So you really want to watch that. There's a hot spot right there, you know, between August 7th and August 10th. Now for you specifically, again, between the 13th, August, really roughly 12th and August 17th, when we have that lovely Venus conjunct Sun, Venus is going to form a lovely trine with Chiron. Here we are again, going back to rest, renew, rejuvenate, restore, like get a massage, have a lovely thing, but sort of pamper yourself. You know, if you're a person that never really does pedicures or never really treats themselves, I feel like this is a wonderful time to do that. All of this is happening behind the scenes though for you, Tauruses and Taurus risings. A lot of this is happening behind closed doors where other people might be out and barbecuing and, oh, it's like summer still and we want to go out. This is like much more of a quieter sort of time. And so there's healing here for you. And again, we're going back into the subconscious and the unconscious mind in your chart, that area where maybe you had toxic patterns pertaining to your family members, or you had some toxic thoughts. This is a good time to look at that and cleanse and clear. Make sure that you write out your intentions for your new moon manifestation list, because that will be very important. And then when we get into around this August 21st to August 24th, here we are. You're going to feel, this is the time where, like I said, most of this time you're going to be feeling kind of maybe alone or lonely or behind the scenes or kind of, you know, like stuck in the house or something behind the scenes, where this is the one time during this retrograde that you get a real like boost and push out the door. Like you're going to be like, I don't want to be at home anymore. I want to be out. I want to play. I want to do something. And you really want to be seen. You really want to dress up and maybe like, you know, kind of look a certain way. And this is really wonderful for you during this time. Again, August 21st to 24th. Just keep in mind that Mercury retrograde is going to be happening in your area of love this year. And there could be trouble on that horizon, especially when it comes to communication and love, where we have miscommunications, because that's what Mercury retrograde teaches us about. This is all about you I think this retrograde for you is really about cleaning up your subconscious or your unconscious mind, your patterns that you've been repeating. Like, we all do that, you know, we all have these automated, I call it the automated operating system, where we're just constantly doing things that, you know, on autopilot. And for you, especially in reference to love, I feel like it's a really good time for you to be able to express yourself and kind of learn about and relearn really what makes you tick and really what makes you feel loved and all that. But it's a lot of this is behind the scenes, and it's about you doing some really good spiritual homework. This particular full moon, blue moon, coming on August 30th is going to be in your area of friendships and groups of people. And so that is something that you have to kind of watch, because there could be a little bit of trouble in that department. Again, full moons are a time of releasing, letting go, wrapping up something. And so you want to watch that, because you might feel a little bit right now like an outsider, like you're not getting the love from your friends that you usually get. And so Taurus, this is going to be a little hard on you. And this is your ruling planet. Venus, you know, is your ruling planet. So I think it's going to work you out a little bit. And where you usually are so loving, and this is more about you figuring out what makes you tick behind the scenes, what makes you happy, and also connecting with family love or your love of your home. I'm going to pull a card for you during this Venus retrograde. What do you need to know, Tauruses or Taurus rising? What do you need to know in order to be able to best serve you during this Venus retrograde? What does Tauruses need to know? Yeah, this is what it's about, actually. Working with devotion. Remember that the angels, the universe is conspiring to help you. Have faith. Get connected with your spirit guides, your guardian angels, and your faith, really. This is what this Venus retrograde, it's kind of like learning about spiritual love. So I hope that helps. Hello, Gemini or Gemini rising. Welcome, going over your Venus retrograde for 2023. And your Venus retrograde, you lucky Geminis out there, is happening in your area of your wheelhouse, which is communication. All things communication, talking, speaking, texting. You know, this is all about learning how to communicate in love. Now, this is also the area of schooling and of siblings and neighbors and even cousins. So when we talk about love language of words of affirmation, oh my gosh, this is totally that. This is about like expressing yourself, but also have people expressing back to you, because Gemini loves to hear you know, thoughts and hear words, and that is very much your thing. This particular Venus retrograde is really going to be kind of, I think, a little bit fun for you. Now, is it all going to be amazing? No. I think it could be even pretty fun for you, actually. Right now, Venus in Leo is going to be forming a trine with the north node of the moon that just entered into your area of friendships. And so this is not only about romantic love, but it's also about hearing from, your friends, your tribe, who makes you happy. And this area is all about aligning with your goals, aligning with like your higher aspirations and your dreams. I think this is pretty fun. I mean, this, especially in the very beginning part of the Venus retrograde, I think that could be really, really fun for you. You're going to be hearing some good news, positive news on July 27th. There's going to be a really busy time for you around that time, July 26th, 27th, and 28th. You might be getting like barraged with phone calls and emails and whatever. And again, that could have a connection with people in the past, because it is Venus retrograde after all. Venus is going to form a conjunction with Mercury in this area of communication. So all of your communication stuff is going to get even bigger and faster and possibly more delicious. I mean, Venus connecting, especially with the North Node of the Moon there in your area of friends, could be really a good time for you, and that could be fun. Now, this full moon on August 1st, you might be feeling quite a bit. Because that's going to be happening in Aquarius, and Gemini and Aquarius are both air signs. So that's going to like really tickle your airy sort of quality that you have there. Remember that full moons are endings, wrapping something up, completing something. And that's also happening in another area of like schooling and learning and education and even travel for you. So that's something that's really going to be like a heightened experience for you around August 1st on the full moon. Now, when we get into that nasty spot where Lilith and Venus come together, Black Moon Lilith, and also that Venus forming a square with Uranus, this is where things get really tricky in the communication department for you, Gemini, because you're going to be possibly hearing something you don't want to hear. And this whatever this thing is that you're going to be going through or experiencing, if it's bad news or if it's just somebody being weird with their communication and saying stupid things, or even worse yet, triggering you, you're really going to be, it might send you into a tailspin, because Uranus is in the area of your subconscious mind, your unconscious, and you're really going to have to be sort of processing, like, how does this make me feel? What are these patterns? And it could even kick up some like hidden anxiety, fear, worry. Like Gemini kind of specializes in that anyway, like the feeling of anxiety and worry. So this could make that sort of worse or stronger. You really want to make sure that you ground yourself, like I love these black stones, this is a piece of jet, and I have hematite on, I have onyx on, any kind of black or dark stones, that's really good for grounding, but you're going to have to really remain grounded from August 7th to August 10th, because that's going to be really not fun. Now, when we get into the August 12th to August 17th time frame, when Venus forms the conjunction with Sun, and also you have this beautiful alignment with Chiron during that time, suddenly though we're back to friends kind of fill in the gap for you. Maybe where this person or this thing that happened that was crunchy and dark and yucky, your tribe is back around you again, Gemini. You're able to fall into the arms of those that you love, and your tribe supports you. It could be a wonderful thing, a healing thing, and knowing that you have these beautiful people in your life, and you are such a good connector, Gemini. Anyway, you're so good at like talking and expressing yourself that you have a plethora of people, connections that you can reach out to. Even this could even produce a new connection in your life. I know it's Venus retrograde and it's more about the past people coming back, but this could even be a new person coming in during that time. So it's quite lovely. And make sure that you write your intentions for this particular new moon, because that'll be very powerful for you, especially in this communication department. Now, where you're going to sort of overdo things or overindulge, well, behind the scenes, especially between August 21st and August 24th, specifically on the 22nd, you could be secretly going into doing some of your old past behaviors that were maybe not so healthy. We'll just say that. Okay. So like if you had, a hidden, sort of problem that you dealt that, or like a behavior, let's say you eat a whole bag of potato chips, or I don't know, whatever it is that you do secretly to sort of relieve stress. I wonder if you're going to be sort of feeling a little indulgent in that. It would be better to, obviously do something that's healthier, but this is about you kind of going inward. It would be a wonderful time to do yoga, meditation, prayer. That would be a healthier way instead of returning to old past habits that are not healthy. Go towards newer things that are healthier and that you're able to sort of sink into. And I think that would be really good for you. Now, this particular Mercury retrograde is going to be going on in your area of home and family, so that can definitely bring some familial stuff onto the plate here for you, Gemini, and you're going to be having to deal with some of that. It's okay. Make sure that you also watch the electricity in your house. Make sure that your house wiring is good and all of that stuff. And communication in your house might end up being busy. So that's another thing. But if you have any electrical problems, this is, make sure that you're safe. And this full moon going to be taking place in your area of career, actually, on August 30th. This blue moon is going to be in your area of career. So that's an ending, something wrapping up, something coming to its fullness, its completion, its harvest. And so that could be lovely for you, but also could make you feel a little bit down sometimes. Sometimes these full moons, especially full moon in Pisces, can be a little bit emotional, and Gemini doesn't like that. Gemini likes to be on the go and connecting and not really like getting blue or getting down. So just keep an eye out for that, Gemini. But mostly I think this is going to be a pretty busy Venus retrograde for you, Gemini. I'm going to pull one card for Gemini or Gemini rising. What do you need to know in particular about this Venus retrograde? Oh, there you go. This is a perfect card for you. Actually, tune out distractions. That is a real problem with Gemini. And I do think you're going to have some trouble with focus during this, because this Venus retrograde feels very busy for you. So I think that's going to be the biggest challenge for Gemini, is tuning out the distractions and staying focused on the task at hand, especially when your ruling planet Mercury goes retrograde on August 23rd. You'll have even a little bit more trouble sort of tuning out distractions, because Mercury is the ruler of not only Gemini, but also Virgo. And this particular Mercury retrograde is in Virgo. And so the Geminis, all the mercurial people out there are going to have a little bit of trouble, I think, with this one. So I hope that helps. Hello, Cancer and Cancer rising. I'm going over your Venus retrograde forecast for 2023. Your Venus retrograde is going to be taking place in your area of money and things you value. And Cancers, a lot of Cancers I know are very monetarily, you guys like to hold on to your money with your crab claws, okay? And so this is going to be all going on in your money department. This could be very good for you in as far as monetary goes, especially when we have Venus retrograde with things being returned to us, okay? So money coming back in the door. You just want to watch, because Venus has very, very expensive taste. Remember, she's the goddess of love and beauty. So she tends to be expensive. She likes fine things. She likes lots of jewelry, lots of expensive things. And so that could hurt your wallet if you're not careful during this particular Venus retrograde, especially when you're spending money on your home. That can be a very expensive, because the real estate is one of our largest financial assets that we can have. And that can be where Venus retrograde during this time around. And plus there's other planets there too in your chart where you're going to be really sort of spending some money. So we want to be careful in that money department. And this is the heads up, because you don't want to get done the retrograde and go, oh shucks, I overdid it. Especially since the Venus, again, in the very beginning of the retrograde, is going to highlight the north node of the moon. Well, for you, is just starting to go into your area of career. So you got some money, monetary. This is Venus retrograde helping you with your area of money, with your area of career. This could be about getting, some sort of raise, promotion, or getting yourself at least into the position of having some kind of raise, promotion, or some sort of thing monetarily in your area of money, and also career and career advancement. You don't have to necessarily work for a living. This could also be about what you offer to the world, to the planet, like putting yourself out there in that way, and just kind of being able to offer yourself to the world. Now, when it comes to this particular full moon, that's going to be on August 1st in Aquarius. That's going to be in the area of other people's money, assets, resources, not necessarily your own bank account, but someone else's. So that is an interesting place, and it's also the area of intimacy. It might be an uncomfortable full moon for you on August 1st, just so that you know. But remember, with Venus retrograde, we're talking about intimacy. I love when you break down intimacy into you, me, see, where you are really being asked to connect a little bit more. Cancers are not super in love with that. If you think of the crab, you like to hide and kind of be in your shell. And so this is about being seen intimately by a lover, a loved one, a partner. And this is about practicing being open. And again, also this has a monetary component to it as well. So this full moon is going to be bringing lots of stuff, but this could be a little bit of a contentious full moon on August 1st of 2023. Now, when we get into that bubble of between August 7th and August 10th, this is the bubble of time where it's a little contentious and a little ouchy and a little hard to sort of get through. Well, now we have some problems here, and specifically with money, but also with loaning money to friends or having any kind of connection where somebody was like, hey, can I spot you, and like, I'll pay you back or something. You don't want to do anything like that. So if you have anybody that comes into your life around this time asking for money, or I don't know, or like, just even if you were like, oh, let's go out to lunch, and you thought you're going to split the bill, and they were just like, oh, you got this, right? Or you go on a date, Venus retrograde, you go on a date and someone's like, they ask you and then they ask you to pay. That could cost you some money when it comes to other people, sort of assuming that you're going to pick up the bill. So we want to be careful with that and be clear with our communication. But again, this could be very positive for your finances between August 12th and August 17th, especially since this is the coveted new moon in your area of finances. This could be very, very beneficial for you. It only happens once a year, Cancers or Cancer rising. And so that is going to be very beneficial. So if you're looking to harvest money, remember Venus secondarily does have an association of money. This new moon on August 16th is going to be a very beneficial new moon for you. And we also get you will also get some healing in your area of career here. You have some really interesting monetary sort of professional associations with this particular Venus retrograde, where it's helping, you're getting some help out in the area of career. You're not getting there's not like a whole lot of love vibes in this necessarily. Remember, this is a generalized forecast for you, but where your superpower is during this Venus retrograde is you could end up getting yourself into a really nice position there to have a raise, a bonus, or some sort of fiscal financial, thing that is beneficial for you. Now, where you overdo it again, your friends they mean well. Your friends mean well, but here we go again, where you are overdoing it financially. In the area of August 21st to 24th, where, hanging out with friends could be a little more expensive than you thought, like maybe they say, hey, let's go to this concert, and you find out the tickets are $100, $200, and $300, and you're like, oh, I didn't think it was gonna be that much, That's kind of the deal. So your overindulgence here is going to be potentially with friends or groups of people, and you just have to watch that. But otherwise, it's actually quite beneficial, and you could have a really good time if you can come to some kind of an agreement on how much it's going to cost. This Mercury retrograde, though, is the next day, you know, on August 23rd, is in Virgo this time around, and it's going to be in your area of communication. And so for you, Cancer or Cancer rising, you really want to be very clear about communication, because that is really where Mercury shines. And so if you're, you know, Mercury's communication and it's in your area of communication, this is double communication for you. You're going to have a lot of lessons during this Mercury retrograde from August 23rd to September 15th. There's going to be a lot of practice. And again, Cancers, I mean, obviously Cancers are not all the same, but a lot of Cancers do feel a little bit shy or have trouble expressing themselves. A wonderful stone for you during this Mercury retrograde could be a blue stone, you know, especially around your throat chakra, to help you with communicating a little bit more easily and a little bit more effectively. This particular full moon in Pisces, you're going to feel very strongly. That is going to be a powerful full moon for you because it's in a fellow sister water sign. Pisces is a water sign, Cancer is a water sign. So you will really be feeling this particular full moon happening. It is happening in your area of travel, legal endeavors, or even in your area of beliefs. Like, what do you believe on a personal level? Like, what's your personal philosophy? And so that's going to be in that area for you, but you will be very much feeling that full moon. And that's also the blue moon happening on August 30th, 7 degrees Pisces to be exact. So Cancers, you will definitely have all the feelings will be activated during that full moon. So don't be surprised if you feel a little moody, or maybe even wanting some time for yourself during that time. I hope that helps. I'm going to pull one card for Cancer, Cancer rising. What do you need to know about this particular Venus retrograde? What is helpful for you to know? Give you a card that, oh, okay. You might be waiting on something, Cancer or Cancer rising. Be patient. Remember that all things take time, you know, and that sometimes we have to just be patient and wait. I'm going to pull another card for you because I feel guided to do so. Let me see what you need to know about this patience that you're being asked. You know, money sometimes takes a little while to turn things around too on that. So let's see. What do you need to know about this? Okay. You have to be very clear with your priorities too. Okay. Reevaluate your priorities. Look, she's either got the watering can or the fire, which is first. You know, it's the watering can. She's got to put out this fire before she can continue on. And so you might be having something smoldering, okay, in your personal realm and your personal life, but it's just saying to have the patience. Rome wasn't built in a day, and sometimes we have to be waiting for our ship to come in. But I really feel like this particular Venus retrograde is going to be financially very good for you. I hope that helps. Leo or Leo rising. Wow, this is your retrograde. I mean, we are in Venus retrograde. We are in Leo season. We're having the new moon in Leo. It is all things Leo right now. And welcome to this Venus retrograde. You've had, like I said earlier, you've had Venus in Leo now for quite a while, all the way since June 5th of 2023. And it is working us out. Okay, I say us because I am Leo rising too, so I get this. And so we have a lot of energy in our area of self, our area of confidence, self, you know, empowerment and self-acknowledgement and all the good things with self, okay, and having self-confidence. This is about finding our mojo, getting in line and in touch with who we are, and this is a beautiful thing. We just had the north node of the moon going into our area of travel and adventuring and exploration. It's a lot of things, and and we're going to be having this beautiful alignment with this Venus retrograde in that department. So we might be hearing from love from afar, possibly during this time in this area of our chart. And so that will be exciting because the North Node of the moon just moved into Aries, and Aries is a fellow fire sign. So Leo is fire sign, Aries fire sign. So that's a beautiful thing. And that's a lovely connection. And that's really firing us up. And we might have a lot more energy than a lot of people going on right now, because again, we're in the heart of all of this energy. It's a lot of energy we're feeling. So again, we want to really want to have self-love, getting into self-empowerment, autonomy. Now, when we think of Venus retrograde, it's like, well, I don't want to have autonomy. I want to have a partner. Well, I mean, you got to shine your light first, okay? And so that is going to be a very powerful time and start to our Venus retrograde, and especially during this, when Venus forms a conjunction with Mercury in this area, where, you know, people are going to want to talk to you, Leo rising, Leos, you know, people are going to want to talk to you because you're shining so brightly. And that's what this is really about. It's about improving the aesthetic. It's about improving our self-confidence. It's all the Leo stuff, like personified. Now, we don't want to get too much or too out of control, because we could be called out during that time too. But this is a lovely time to sort of, you know, especially if you've been kind of, you know, taking some punches in the last, you know, year or a few months. This is a good time to sort of come out of that and get back into ourselves and who we want to be and need to be. Okay, so this particular full moon, though, is going to really work us out on August 1st because Venus is in Leo, plus the sun's in Leo, and a bunch of other planets. So this full moon is going to be in Aquarius, and then opposing Aquarius, Leo sun. So this is going to be really impacting Leo or Leo rising during this time. And right now, that is going to be going on in your area of marriage and commitment. So talk about Venus retrograde. Now we got this marriage and commitment. There might be an ending coming in, you know, something that's ending, or it's fullness, its peak, its fullest expression, or harvesting something in the area of marriage. So, you know, this is sometimes like we're like really peaking out. It's a max experience for us during this time. So it's an important full moon on August 1st for us Leos. And we really have to watch this August 7th to August 10th time frame, especially when there's that nasty sort of conjunction going on with Black Moon Lilith, and also the square with Uranus. Uranus is in our area of career right now. And this could be, you know, a betrayal, or somebody saying something nasty about you at work, or whatever your work is, you know, it depends, like social media, whatever thing it is that you do. This is somebody like kind of coming in and zapping just a little bit of that self-confidence we're building and growing through this experience, and getting stronger and more autonomous and more self-embodied. You know, that's what Leo is supposed to be doing. You know, somebody comes along and sort of takes the wind out of our sail for a couple days. From August 12th to August 17th, roughly. But don't worry, we're going to come back into that really beautiful August 12th to August 17th new moon in Leo. 23 degrees Leo is August 16th. So it's super important to write out your new moon manifestation list. Venus is going to form a conjunction. Oh my gosh, in this area of self. Like, this is beautiful. Like, this is a beautiful energy. I love, 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 love this. I think it's great. And, you know, people are going to be attracted. You know, I mean, this is going to pull in attention, whether it be for a love partnership, or whether it be for, you know, just adoration, or somebody like, hey, you're just interesting, you know, like it's all of that kind of stuff for Leo right now. I think it's a beautiful time. We could overindulge and get a little ahead of ourselves and be a little awkward around this August 21st to 24th. Again, this could be actually really good alignment in career. Now we go back to career, okay? This could be a really wonderful career opportunity coming in. Just make sure you're not biting off more than you can chew. If, someone presents to you like, hey, let's do, we're going to build an apartment complex with 40,000 apartment buildings. Like, you can't handle that maybe right now. Like that, like, in other words, you have to learn to say no. In your area of career, you might end up getting so many opportunities that you have to learn discernment. And that will be helpful during Mercury in Virgo. Virgo, key word for Virgo is discernment. So I think that this Virgo could really help us, because Virgo for this Mercury retrograde is going to happen in your area of finances, Leo. So money might be coming back from somewhere. Who knows? That could be fun. But you want to have discernment, because you can't be all things to all people at all places at all times. That's really like Leo. I think that's our big life lesson. Now, this full moon is funkalicious on August 30th. Yes, I said funkalicious because this August 30th full moon for Leo is not fun. It's in Pisces and it's a water sign. Leo's fire sign. It's not a lot of fun. It's in this area of, other people's finances, resources. It's even kind of thinking about maybe death and the afterlife and all this kind of stuff. Like, this is a heavy full moon for Leo right now. So, the question of mortality always, occasionally comes into our lives. And for Leo, this is that particular full moon. I'm not predicting death. I'm just saying that the question of that could come in to some Leos during that time, or even intimacy. That's another sexual intimacy area. I don't know. I mean, I think it feels funky and it feels yucky during that particular full moon. Sorry to say, where we have this beautiful, delicious, wonderful, luscious spot, that's more closer to August 12th to August 17th. We have this, it's kind of sandwiched in between two yucky sort of times. So Leo, I hope that helps. I think for you guys, Leo rising, you need to just go big or go home, put yourself out there. Like, you are meant to shine during this particular Venus retrograde. I'm going to pull one card for Leo rising. What do you guys need to know during this particular Venus retrograde? What is the most important thing you need to know? Woo! I had two cards come out at the same time. Strengthen your gifts and ask with sincerity. Ask with sincerity sometimes. It was funny because they both popped into my hand at the same time. Ask with sincerity sometimes means that, like, you already know the answer. So I pulled another card today. Both came out at once. But if you can see, strengthen your gifts. I mean, you're already a beautiful flower, Leo. You just have to water. That's this little person here is watering the flower and it's growing into this big, huge thing. Ask with sincerity just means you have to really look sort of honestly and in a sober sort of way at your life. And sometimes if you don't want to know, you don't ask, that kind of thing. And so I really feel like it's about looking at ourselves unabashedly and authentically. And remember, all of this is in our area of self. So it's like, it's good to be confident. It's good to strengthen our gifts. It's good to be over the top and big, right? Like, that's that flower. But also we have to remember to be sincere, and to be authentic, and to be looking at things in a real, sobering sort of way. I hope that helps. Hello, Virgo rising or Virgo. I'm going over your Venus retrograde for 2023. This particular Venus retrograde is going to be kind of interesting. It's going to be occurring in an area of your chart that I have nicknamed the closet. It's behind the scenes. It's all about connecting with your love of, we could call it God, the Buddha, the angels, the divine, the universe. This is going on behind the scenes, and sort of having you sort of think about your love and your love life and what makes you tick as far as your thoughts of love and your patterns, your unconscious or your subconscious patterns in relationships. Now, I am going to say this. This could also be a secret love, a secret crush, a secret behind the scenes sort of like, you know, I don't want to tell anybody, you know, sort of situation that could develop during this particular Venus retrograde. But regardless of what it is, if it's your spiritual love or you're just going to spend some time resting, renewing, recuperating, you have a bunch of planets in that area. This might be a quieter time for you during this particular Venus retrograde, especially in the beginning of the retrograde. It's going to form a lovely trine with the north node of the moon going into your area of sexuality and intimacy. And so you're going to be sort of, but even that area is kind of like behind closed doors, and it's private usually in most people's lives, their area of sex or sexuality or how they feel intimate with another partner is really behind the scenes. So Virgo, you have kind of a funky little bit Venus retrograde here, where this is a little bit more of a quieter Venus retrograde for you, where you're really just kind of in your thoughts and in your subconscious mind. And actually, you might have been feeling kind of tired lately, and you maybe need some R&R and some extra self-love and spoiling yourself a little bit behind the scenes. Now, this is also going to be affecting like your area of secrets, and like I said, secret love affairs, secret crushes, secret flings, anything that's like secret or hidden behind the scenes. Just be careful with that, especially as we get into this August 12th to August 17th, where Black Moon Lilith is going to be highlighted there. And also we have that square with Uranus. Ooh, that, you know, if you are a Virgo indulging in that sort of thing, that you're having a secret fling or a secret love affair with somebody, this could get really uncomfortable for you. You could be discovered or caught or, you know, some kind of thing, or even experience that with a loved one that is in your life. So you don't want to, you know, sort of go there. You want to be a little bit more authentic. And you also don't want to be jumping to too many conclusions, Virgos, because that is a real thing. And out of anybody I know, Virgos can really do some homework and some research. So you guys are really good at that. But we don't want to jump to conclusions either. So remember that August 12th, August 17th has a lot of like sort of jealousy around it. And I don't know, it could be a bit ouchy for you for sure. Now, when we get into this Sun-Venus conjunction and also the new moon going on in Leo, this is, again, we're going back into this area of self-awareness for you. Like really thinking about your subconscious or your unconscious patterns in relationships. Are you too much a perfectionist? Do you expect too much from your lover or partner? Because you expect a lot from other people, Virgo. And so often when we have expectation of ourselves and that expectation is very high, we expect others to be also equally as high. So what are your hidden unconscious or subconscious patternings in your relationships, and where does that get toxic and out of balance? And that's really what your Venus retrograde is working on. I always say that Virgos tend to show their love through criticism, like, ouch, like you want your partner, like you don't want your partner to go out looking like that looks terrible. Oh, I don't want you to be embarrassed, but can you see how like somebody else might perceive that as not so, that's not such great feedback, you know? So remember that Venus in Leo wants praise, wants adoration, wants that like sort of like, you're amazing, that over the top. And Virgos tend to not be so good at that or have that flowing so easily. Venus retrograde for you Virgos are going to be about learning how to do a little bit of that, and also giving that to yourself. You know, what if you thought you were amazing? That would be amazing, I think. Now, where do things get a little kind of out of control and sort of, well, you don't really have too much of an out of control situation. August 21st and August 24th, there's going to be a square going on between Venus retrograde and Jupiter. Jupiter is in your area of beliefs. Jupiter is in your area of personal philosophy, travel, legal endeavors. And so if you're dealing with anything like that, that might be a little bit of a weird thing for you. You definitely want to make sure you don't get a speeding ticket or any kind of thing like that, because there is a legal thing going on there. But when it comes to your personal philosophy and sort of your personal beliefs, again, are you digging your heels in, or are you being a little bit more loosey-goosey? And that's what you want to do. This could also be hearing news from afar, or even planning a trip, a big travel thing. So that could be really fun. And that's coming on August 21st to August 24th, traveling and getting out there. And again, here we go back into lessons pertaining to communication, because Mercury retrograde, Virgo, is in your sign this time around, August 23rd all the way until September 15th. Mercury is going to be going retrograde in your sign. So you really have to be a little bit much more conscious of your communication style, and you'll be getting lessons pertaining to that for sure. Now, you are going to really be feeling this particular full moon, blue moon on August 30th, because it is going to be occurring in your opposite sign, which is Pisces, and that's already in opposition. So the sun will be in Virgo and the moon's going to be in Pisces at that time. So this is going to be, you're going to be in ground zero of this whole Pisces Virgo situation, and expect to feel intense, more intense around this particular period of time. And also you possibly could feel a little unwell or tired, extra tired. So you might want to mark that on your calendar, and just know that you might want to take a nap or have some alone time so that you can sort of recharge your batteries. You might want to sleep a little extra, or whatever it is, get some more rest around that time, because this particular full moon for you is going to be quite powerful. Okay, Virgo rising, I'm going to pull a card for you, one card, in order to tell you how this particular Venus retrograde is going to go and what lessons do you need to learn, because we all learn these lessons during this time. So you got face your shadow, and literally this is what I was talking about. Face your shadow is all about this hidden, unconscious, subconscious. This is like sort of shadow boxing, right? Carl Jung talks about this, the shadow side, the side that, maybe isn't the most fun side, the side that, we have to sort of explore a little bit more. Don't be afraid to do that. I mean, it's not fun. It's not a fun thing to embrace that side of ourselves, or to think about a side that's a shadowy side, a side that maybe we don't like about ourselves, is to explore that so you can heal it, because there's healing that can be done here during this Venus retrograde. So I hope that helps, Virgo. Hello, Libra rising or Libra. Welcome to your Venus retrograde forecast for 2023. Well, Venus is your ruling planet, and now it's going retrograde, and it's in charge of, or ruling, Libra. That could be a little weird, and that could make you feel a little strange, but this particular Venus retrograde for you actually could be quite fun. It's going on in your area of friendships and groups of people, your tribe. And it could be a very extroverted time for you. Libra already loves to, unless if you have a moon or something in an introverted sign, usually most Libras are quite extroverted and enjoy the company of others. It would be a very good time for you during this particular Venus retrograde. And usually Libras and Leos get along quite well. So again, that's a very compatible thing, because there's a lot of energy in Leo right now. We'll be in Leo season during this Leo retrograde. We'll be in Leo season during this Venus retrograde in Leo. So that would be helpful for Libras as well. Now, you are getting fired up in your area of self. For Libras, this can sometimes be uncomfortable, because your sort of life lesson is about others, about partnership, about having a duet or another person in your life. And this is saying you got to really come back to yourself, especially during the very beginning part of this Venus retrograde between July 21st and July 26th. You're going to be reminded to actually focus on yourself. You know, the old adage of you have to put the oxygen mask on you first in a plane before you can put it on another person. That's basically what this is reminding you of during that time. And you're going to have a lot of activity. You're going to have a lot of people kind of pulling on you, wanting your attention. You're very popular right now, Libra. So you're going to have a lot of like people pulling at your energy. And you're going to have to remember the north node of the moon traveling through Aries, which is your opposite sign. And we have the south node of the moon going through Libra, which is past life and things that you're sort of going through from the past, and you're kind of clearing some karma during this particular north node, south node sort of expedition that we're on. And so for you, it's very important to remember yourself. And that's the big reminder, especially during the beginning part of this Venus retrograde. But really, I think it's going to go on for the 18 months that the south node of the moon is moving through your sign right now. Now, this full moon is going to really fire you up because you're an air sign. And on August 1st, we're going to have a full moon in Aquarius, which is also another air sign. So you're going to feel quite lively. It's going to be kind of a positive full moon for you. It's going to be taking place in your area of love and flings and flirtations and all that stuff. So this could make you very popular. Again, it's a full moon. It's an ending. We're releasing. We're letting go of something. It is also your area of children, and it is also in an area of creativity. It just means we're having a peak experience. And so that's happening, which is actually could be quite positive, like I said, because the full moon at least is compatible with your sign, so it'll be a little bit less stressful. Now, when we get into that hot spot between August 7th and August 10th, when Venus forms a conjunction with Lilith and then forms a square with Uranus, here we have potentially a betrayal or something that goes on in your area of friendships, where, you know, somebody said something, you thought they meant something else, you know, and this could be quite intense. So we had such a lively start to this whole thing, right? With this Venus retrograde with you, Libra, and then all of a sudden, or Libra rising, and then all of a sudden now, we're experiencing this sort of dark hiccup, if you will. And that's really what we could call it, you know, and it could be something that is quite shocking. Also, you could receive shocking sort of money news, you know, as well, in your area of wills and trust funds and life insurance policies. And there's some things going on in that department. Your assets right now might be a little, you're trying to find your stability with your assets right now. And so, and if you haven't done that yet, you know, it's time to even set up your own will, trust fund, estate, and policies and things like that, because you're trying to stabilize yourself financially. That hasn't been quite so easy for you lately. On one hand, you have some blessings in that department, but on the other hand, you have this like instability in that department. So that's kind of, you know, maybe making you a little bit worried, or you could have even some financial fears going on between August 7th to August 10th. But then between August 12th and August 17th, you do go back to this beautiful energy that we have going on in Leo. And, you know, this is all about making you shine a little bit brighter. You know, I mean, Leo is a little bit more sort of bodacious and out there and dramatic. And this is reminding you that sometimes you can toot your own horn, Libra. You don't always have to just acquiesce and well, they did it and I did it. We both shared, you know, because Libra loves that sense of balance and fairness. And it is okay to sometimes take the limelight and to shine brightly. And it's to remind yourself that it's okay to do that, especially on this new moon, which will be a wonderful new moon for you on August 16th. That is going to be a really nice time to manifest, especially, you know, what you're looking for, either if it's a friendship or a partner who is like your friend and that functions in a way that, you know, they say the best core root of all good romantic relationships is friendship. And so this is a reminder to work on yourself, your friends, but also like, do you even like your partner? You know, I mean, that's, you gotta like, not just love them, but do you like them? Are they your friend? Are they your best friend? And if the answer is no, then you gotta not do that. Okay. Easier said than done though, right? So Venus is going to be forming a square with Jupiter between August 21st and August 24th. And again, here we are back to that assets and resources. Now we could go a little overboard, Libra, with the financials at that time. And even with this fear and worry that you have in that department, that's kind of kicking up for you, this anxiety that you're having around your assets and your resources, or even other people's assets and resources, like if you're embroiled in some kind of, you know, estate thing with your siblings and, you know, whatever that might be, that could really kick things up around that time. But mostly it could be positive. I mean, this even could be a financial, like a little financial thing, but windfall, if you will, during that time. But it's good to know to not go overboard, in other words. So, last but not least, you have this full moon coming. We all do, at the end of August 30th. And it's a blue moon as well. And this full moon is really asking you to focus on your health. You know, you've had a lot of people pulling at your energy. I can feel like, it feels like there's, you know, like everybody wants something. And remember that, I want you to remember that sometimes, like, it's wonderful you have this beautiful group of people and this beautiful amount of friends around you, and maybe even a love relationship that's in this friend group as well, like whatever it is. But people tend to give advice based on what is good for them. And this full moon, Libra, is asking you to look about inside for your feelings and your intuition and your gut feeling. Because like, this is a lot of, like, you know, there's so much going on around you, Libra, right now, that I feel like you have to really look within to your feelings. And also, this can be about your health. Like, you might have been running yourself too thin or running yourself too ragged. And you got to really concentrate on healing yourself and having healthy habits and all those things. And that is coming on August 30th for you during this big Venus retrograde extravaganza. So I'm going to pull a card for you, Libra rising or Libra sun sign. What do you need to know about this particular Venus retrograde? What do you need to know to help guide you? Oh, interesting. Okay. So I actually accidentally pulled two cards out. So you got laugh at your demons and quietly serve. You know, sometimes we have to laugh at ourselves, right? And not take ourselves too seriously. I feel like as if also quietly serving behind the scenes and getting like your stuff done and getting organized and all of those things is very helpful during this time, because again, you have so much going on and people are pulling at you and you have a lot of energy and activity that it's good to remember to get all your things done and get organized. We do have Mercury retrograde coming, which is going to be in your area of behind the scenes, actually. The quietly serve part, I think, is very useful. When I think of service, I definitely think of Virgo. And I forgot to say that when I was going through, is that that's where your Virgo Mercury is going to be, is in that area of sort of getting things done behind the scenes. So you have a lot of this extroverted energy, and then suddenly August 23rd to September 15th, we have Mercury going into that area, and it's retrograde in that area for you. And this is just a reminder that you also have to get some stuff done behind the scenes, and also quietly listen, laughing at your demons. You know, we all have to just not take ourselves too seriously. Okay, so that is for you, Libra rising. Hope that helps. Hello, Scorpio or Scorpio rising. I am going over your Venus retrograde for 2023. You have kind of the fun one of your Venus retrograde is going to be in your area of career, what you outwardly give to the world. So even if you don't have a career per se that you're working on, maybe you are a stay-at-home homemaker, this is still what you give, how you lend your energy to the world, and that is where your Venus retrograde is going to be. Now, for sure, this could be finding love at the workplace. Careful with that, Scorpio or Scorpio rising. But this is basically, you're feeling the love at work, okay? You're going to be putting in a lot of extra time, a lot of extra effort, and or into whatever it is that you do. Like maybe you volunteer, or maybe you have a cause that you do, whatever sort of thing, like whatever you lend to the world is basically affected at this Venus retrograde time. And it's also, if you're unemployed at the time, could be finding work, you know, I mean, that can be, it's all things career. And the area of your chart is like, what do I want to be when I grow up? This is where your Venus retrograde is highlighted. Now, a lot of people do meet at work. Okay, I'll just say that. And so you want to watch that because that could be a little sticky. Scorpios don't usually like that kind of thing. And typically, if it is that kind of a situation with a Scorpio, you're on the down low on that one. You're not going to be out there singing from, you know, the front of the room. You know, you will definitely be behind the scenes doing something like that, because Scorpios tend to be private anyway. So you don't like your stuff to be on the front page of any newspaper, like on the company email circuit. And so you just want to watch that, because Venus retrograde can cause little hiccups in that department. Now, your Venus retrograde starts off with the north node of the moon going into your area of health, your habits, healthy habits, and your day-to-day activity. It's where you're working and like your coworkers and things like that. So again, here we are in a work area. The difference is Venus retrograde is in your area of like, what do I want to be when I grow up? And the north node of the moon is what do I do every day as a habit, or in your work, like how you do your work, like your work environment, your coworkers. So these are going to be very, very highlighted, especially in the beginning between July 21st and July 26th. That is going to be going on. You're going to be very busy getting a lot of like emails and texts and all kinds of things, especially work communication. If you have a career and you have something that you're doing. And if you're even trying to find your life's mission, like really even more than a career, like what do I want to have, like what's your passion? This could really help you having those planets going on retrograde because it has you evaluating, but also reevaluating what you're doing in that department. Now, when we move into that sticky spot, first of all, this full moon is going to be in Aquarius, and that's going to be on August 1st. And that's going to be in Aquarius, which in your chart is affecting your area of home and family. So sometimes this can be a little bit of a tender full moon, because home and family is like, home is where the heart is, right? You know, and that can be a little, you know, like there could be family drama or some family stuff, because full moons, you know, tend to kick up energy a little bit. And then we have that sticky spot coming between August 7th and August 10th, where we have that conjunction coming with Lilith, and then also the square with Uranus. This is really affecting you, Scorpio. This is a big time one, where if you have a saboteur at work, or if you have somebody at work that's like trying to do you in, or, you know, I don't know, like working against your good, you know, intentions, this is where we could feel it. And so remember that you don't want to jump to conclusions, because whatever happens feels really bad. You know, I mean, that's the problem with Black Moon Lilith, is that when she's activated, she feels very dark and very like, ugh, you know. So that's something that you kind of have to keep in mind. Don't jump to negative conclusions, but there could be somebody that's backstabby or working behind the scenes in your job. So you want to watch that. Also, you could have something unexpected in your love life. Now, this is a general reading, right? This is a general broadcast about a general astrology, but it is falling in your area of commitment, and this Venus square Uranus, it's causing sort of disagreement between your work and your marriage or your love life. Like, you might be working too much and your partner's like, hey, where are you? What's going on? I need you, you know? And there might be like a sort of chasm between these two. Or maybe you're working too much and you don't have time to find a relationship, but something is about to kind of come in where like either a partner or maybe a flirtation or something is kind of getting stirred up during this time of it's a little uncomfortable for you, because again, you like to be very private. So just watch that. That's between August 7th and August 10th. However, when we get into August 12th to August 17th, which is this beautiful new moon. This is going to be a new moon in your area of career. Yay for you. You're very lucky that you have that. And also a lot of more activity in your area of career. I mean, this is really time to shine in your career. I mean, whatever it is you want to do, just go for it. This is really a good time for you. Now, we do have Mercury retrograde coming, and that's going to be for you in your area of friendships and groups of people, like your tribe. And so there's probably going to be a lot more communication with friends than you're used to. But this could even be a friend coming back from the past or something like that. And that's coming on August 23rd all the way until September 15th in your area of friends. You're a little prone to overdo it though, like I said, and have this like work marriage. You have this like kind of pull between these two spots of work and marriage. It's not a bad thing. And especially as we get into this August 21st to August 24th time frame, you have Jupiter in your area of marriage right now. That can be very good for love. I'm just saying. So if you have anybody that you've been thinking of, especially if it is a work person, as long as it's not against the rules, you could really do something there. I mean, that could be something that's really powerful and very nice and fun. It could be like a successful sort of time for you. And I think this is really a positive time. Now, this full moon in Pisces is a water sign. Scorpio is a water sign. On August 30th, 2023, you will feel this as a super moon in Pisces. So you're going to feel all the extra feelings that come with water signs. Cancer rising, Scorpio rising, and Pisces are all going to get hit with the extra water on this full moon. So you might feel a little bit more emotional, but you also might be super, super, super intuitive at that time, like super download, super intuitive. So definitely make the most of that. I'm going to pull a card. What does Scorpio rising or Scorpios need to know during this Venus retrograde time in Leo? What do you guys need to know? What's the most helpful thing? Woo! All right, I couldn't pull all those because I just had a big fly out. So what do we need to know? Okay. This is interesting too, because this is right. I was talking so much about your job and career. Live your soul, not your role. Your role could be your job. See if you can look, she's got the shadow self right here. And then she's really like living her soul. This is the role, right? And so you want to make sure that you're not just, like in the United States, we always say, what do you do for work? Within like 5 minutes, we ask always people like, what is our role? Like, what's our thing? And whether this is in a relationship or in a family dynamic or in a career, because you have a bunch of these areas highlighted for you, Scorpio, right now. What do you need to know about that? Well, you need to just be you and not be defined by these categories or these roles. We get caught up in that sometimes, and we really need to break free. She was flying away and breaking free from that role. So I hope that helps. Hello, Sagittarius or Sagittarius rising. This is your Venus retrograde forecast in Leo for 2023. Wow, oh wow, you are one of the fire signs, and Venus retrograde is in a fire sign right now. And so you are going to get fired up just because of that, there's a lot of energy in Leo right now, so you'll be feeling the extra fire, sort of igniting your Sagittarian fires as well. This particular Venus retrograde in Leo is going to be igniting your area of travel. This is your native homeland of travel, of adventure, of exploring, of philosophy, of beliefs, religion, law, legal stuff, education. It's a lot of Sagittarius energy, and this is really going to be firing up all of that stuff. Like I said, it's Leo, so it's like igniting all of those things, and this is really, really powerful for you, and is going to be igniting those, like all that Sagittarian stuff, all the wanting to travel, to explore. Venus retrograde in Leo, this could be really a 90-day fiance situation. This can be getting into a long-term relationship, or a relationship with somebody from a different race or background or culture, and really just falling in love with the world. You know, I mean, that's basically what this Venus retrograde is about. This could be somebody coming from far away and coming back into your life. I mean, this is all kinds of stuff, because, you know, exes can come back during Venus retrograde. But you have a lot of energy astrologically in that area. Now, for you, also, the north node of the moon has just moved into Aries, another fire sign. So we have the Leo activated, we have the Aries north node of the moon, and that's moving into your area of crushes and flings and, you know, the feeling of love. So this really could be bringing somebody into your life, you know, like the north node of the moon is the destiny. So this really could be bringing somebody into your life, especially between the time of July 21st until July 26th, when Venus retrograde highlights the North Node. But the North Node is going to be there for 18 months for you, Sagittarius rising or Sagittarius. So you really want to explore that, because you have possibly somebody coming in. So if you've been looking, if you're single, or this can be a deepening of a connection or a deepening of a relationship if you're already in one. As we get into the full moon in Aquarius on August 1st, 2023, that's going to be in your area of communication. It's going to be a very busy time for you. Aquarius and Sagittarius, you guys typically get along. That's Jennifer Aniston and Brad Pitt. Okay, Brad's the Sag. And so that can be a very good time, a good time of friendships, of talking, connecting, communicating. If you were thinking about going online with a dating app or something like that, it could be that too. But it's just getting out there and being social. And that's what a lot of Sagittarius love. And that's going to be coming again on August 1st. But there's that sticky spot, you know, that everybody's going through between August 7th and August 10th, where there could be a problem. And the problem comes in where we have possibly something going awry in this area. You really got to watch, because this is the area of legal in your chart, Sagittarius. So you really have to watch that. You don't want a parking ticket, or worse, you know, some other sort of legal endeavor or something going awry in the legal world. You might be hearing some legal news during that time if you're embroiled in some kind of a thing like that. Or it could even be snafu with travel plans or something. We do have Mercury retrograde coming on the 23rd, but this could even come for you a little early than that. And this is also a reminder to take good care of your health, because this whatever is coming around that sort of time could really stress you out and kind of make you spin out a little bit. Like you could have a lot of nervous or anxious energy, Sages. So you want to make sure that you watch that and remain grounded and practice really good grounding techniques between, you know, the 7th and the 10th time frame, because it could be very stressful. Whatever is coming during that time as a stressful piece of news is basically what's happening. But again, we have this, you have a wonderful new moon, wonderful manifestations that you can do on August 16th. This is the new moon in Leo and Sag, again, besties, both fire signs. This is going to be a very positive new moon for you. This is really wonderful too if you work in advertising, marketing, publishing, writing a book, or even being in school, academia, learning. Like, this is wonderful if you've been thinking about going back to school or any kind of thing like that. This is a very wonderful learning sort of thing. Yeah, that could bring you lots of good blessings. Again, when we're looking, it is interesting because in this area of the chart, it is said to be the area of second marriages. So if you're looking for that, that could be a good thing for you too, Sagittarius. Second or more marriages. This is that area of the chart. So if you're single and you're looking, that could be beneficial as well. Now, when we get into August 21st to August 24th, Venus retrograde is going to form a square with Jupiter. Well, Jupiter is your ruling planet, Sagittarius. So there's a square between Venus and your ruling planet during that time. And again, we're back into this health, how you take care of yourself, healthy habits to remember. You know, Sagittarius is, you guys can be the good time Charlies and the partiers and whatever. You want to make sure you're not doing too much of that. And this is a reminder of that. And you want to be able to have a good time, but not at the expense of your health, whether it be a sunburn, whether it be too much food or drink, whether it be, you know, whatever it is that you're doing too much of. This is a time to remember that you don't have to have you know, an entire bag of, you know, chips or Doritos or something, that you can have just a little bit and still have fun. Because yeah, Sagittarius, you guys want to have fun, but just not too much fun where it comes at the expense of your physicality. Now, when we get into your Mercury retrograde is going to be in your area of career, actually. So watch what you say. There's going to be a communication glitch in that department between August 23rd and September 15th. And this full moon in Pisces might be actually a little uncomfortable for you. Sagittarius and Pisces, and that's going to be on August 30th, 2023. Sagittarius and Pisces are square each other. You guys don't get along very well. Okay, you're mutable, they're mutable. It's not a good situation. And that is coming in your fourth house of home and family. So there's something in the works for your home and family on that full moon. So just, you know, it could be a little emotional and a little ouchy, especially, you know, when it comes to our home life or our family members. It's always a little ouchy when there's strife or problems in that area. And full moons can be intense, as you probably already know. Okay, Sagittarius rising or Sagittarius, I'm going to pull a card. What do you need to know about this particular Venus retrograde? Oh, whoa, wow. Oh, this is beautiful. This is a very beautiful card. Love your spirit. You know, Sagittarius, you have such a beautiful free spirit. You know, you're one of the centaurs, half man, half horse. And so this is a time to love your soul, love yourself, love your spirit. You know, remember who you are. We have an association here with Venus retrograde and Chiron too. And Chiron is about healing something in your home, your family life, and all of that. And this is just saying be you. She has a beautiful like flower in her hair. I don't know, like it's just remembering to blossom and to love your spirit. You guys are such free spirited. And I always think of horses when I think of Sagittarius, and like I think of those wild horses that like run on the beach. And I, you know, if you haven't been doing a lot of that, Sag, this is time to do that. I mean, love is not only romantic love, but sometimes it's loving, you know, what you do. I had a good friend of mine who was a very lovely Sagittarius, and he used to say, I'm a Sagittarius and life is a buffet. And I think that is such a wonderful mantra to have as a Sagittarius. So hope that helps. Hello, Capricorn or Capricorn rising. This is your Venus retrograde forecast for 2023. This particular Venus retrograde is going to be a little tricky for you, Capricorn. It's in the astrological sign of Leo. Leo and Capricorns are said in astrology to not be too compatible, though, of course, I know a bunch of Capricorns and Leos that are married to each other. So it's, you know, it depends on your moon and other placements in your chart. But when I'm talking about the energies, I'm talking about two very strong-willed kind of signs. And where Leo is in your chart right now, Capricorn, it's the area of intensity. It's your area of intimacy, your area of sexuality, your area of being seen fully, being vulnerable by another. And that is super uncomfortable typically for most of you Capricorns. So this is a time where you're being stretched a little bit in the vulnerability, intimacy, into you me see sexual areas, and so this is a little bit of a stretch for you Capricorn. You know, Capricorns are sort of known for being a little bit more reserved in that way, and so I have noticed that in my readings and my many years of astrology, a lot of Capricorns are a little bit reserved when it comes to that department, and so you're being asked now to put yourself out there, to be a little bit more vulnerable, to be a little bit more open-hearted with loved ones, because y'all tend to have a little bit of trust issues. I'm just saying. So it's about cracking open your heart and being vulnerable and allowing that love to come in, because it isn't always easy. What is kind of helping this is the north node of the moon right now in Aries is going into your area of home and family. And so this is something that is going to be good, especially if you lived with a loved one or lived with a love partner already. Then you're going to be asked to expand your family, to move into like maybe a new home, or think about real estate, or think about even being a little bit more open in your home life, especially in the beginning of when Venus first goes retrograde from July 21st to July 26th, although this north node of the moon thing is going to be going on for 18 months, not just towards that time, but you're going to get a little boost in that Venus where you're going to be asked to practice being a little bit more open, a little bit more vulnerable. Now, you're going to be getting a little bit more communication is going to be picking up, especially around July 26th, 27th, 28th, where somebody really wants to talk to you about their feelings, and you're going to have to just listen and also share your own feelings with this person. It's hard for a lot of Capricorns to do so. I mean, Capricorns, you guys are the doers, you know, it's like you're busy like slaying dragons and starting companies, but it's like, oh wait, I gotta talk to you about my feelings. Oh, that's a whole different, ask. So that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Now, this full moon coming on August 1st is going to be coming in money department, which is actually a little bit more of a comfortable thing for you to deal with. It's like, oh, I don't have to talk about feelings. We can just talk about bank accounts. That sounds good for a Capricorn. And so this is full moon taking place in your area of money. This can be money coming in or money going out. I mean, money can be stressful during full moons because it's a full moon, or you could be receiving. So it's one or the other. Something highlighting money during this full moon. Now, between August 7th to August 10th, there is a hot spot, and this is the hot spot. And so you're getting some news here that's not fun. And also, somebody could betray your trust on top of this. So we want to watch this. Venus retrograde and also Uranus. And Uranus is in your area of flings. And so if you have a friends with benefits, or if you have somebody, it's like Capricorn, typically you guys want to settle down more, unless if you're in the playing phase of your life. Capricorns will not settle, and often a lot of times will really hold out for the right one, which I think is a very admirable thing for a lot of Capricorns that I've met. And again, this depends on your moon sign and different other factors of your chart. But Capricorn or Capricorn rising, you guys tend to be very responsible. So this is a reminder to kind of lighten up and to play a little bit. But conversely, if you've been playing too much and you're too uncommitted and you're too out there, then this is about learning to settle in and settle down a little bit. Not settling for, just settling down, which could be a fun thing for a Capricorn. Now, when we get into this new moon, and we have some healing energy going on with Chiron, really where you're being asked to heal things is your area of home and family. That is the thing. Between the North Node, the moon being there, and also Chiron is there too, trying to get you to heal things. So you need to set new intentions. This could be a very sort of psychic new moon for you. You might be feeling a lot more energy, a lot more downloads. You could be having visitation dreams, or even getting a visitation from a deceased loved one. But this is basically a very sort of psychic new moon for you. And that's coming on August 16th of 2023 in Leo. Now, when we get into around August 21st to August 24th, Venus is going to be forming a square with Jupiter, and Jupiter is in, again, your area of flings and whatever. So this could be really fun. This particular time for you could be really fun. Again, Jupiter is always about maybe overdoing it a little bit, but hey, this is about getting your flirt on and about getting out there. And especially since you've been very kind of feeling serious lately and feeling maybe intense about something lately. Maybe it even has something to do with a joint asset or a joint financial thing, or like if you're going through some kind of a divorce or something like that, you will really be feeling that during this time. So this is about playing, especially like I said, during like kind of the 21st to the 24th. This is about getting out there to play and to have fun. Keep in mind that Mercury is going retrograde in your area of legal stuff. So again, if you are a Capricorn that has stuff going on like that, that could get stirred up for you for sure. And it's going to be in Virgo, which is a fellow earth sign. So your earth sign, Virgo is an earth sign. That's what Mercury retrograde is going to be in Virgo. So you're really going to be feeling particularly this Mercury retrograde, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that you'll be getting an increase of activity in that legal travel sort of department. Now, the full moon, blue moon is going to be taking place in Pisces. Pisces and Capricorn is actually pretty compatible. I know a lot of people who were with Pisces or married to Pisces or currently with Pisces, whatever. So this is going to be a full moon in your area of communication. So that's a very important full moon for you. And again, this is learning to talk about your feelings, Capricorn. I mean, you're not an open book. Capricorns are very much like Scorpios, I feel, in that way. You guys are not open books. But when you're comfortable, you will share. Sharing is caring. And so that's something to remember during this full moon, blue moon on August 30th of 2023. I'm going to pull a card for Capricorn sun or Capricorn rising sign. Let me just do that. What do you need to know about this Venus retrograde, Capricorn? Oh, this is so perfect for you guys. So perfect. Do what you love. Like I said, you've been serious lately. I mean, you're kind of a serious sign anyway. And this is about focusing on something that brings you joy, brings you happiness. Look, it's almost like sitting on a little swimming pool, the edge there with a big lotus flower. Lotus flowers, I don't know if you know this, but lotus flowers grow in the mud, okay? They grow in like some of the hardest conditions. And so Capricorn, I feel like you are a lotus flower, like you guys can really thrive in some very stressful conditions, but it doesn't mean you have to. Sometimes you have to break free and get out and do something fun. So I hope that helps. Hello, Aquarius or Aquarius rising sign. This is your Venus retrograde forecast for 2023. You are the lucky ducks. You're getting this Venus retrograde in your area of marriage and partnerships, the area of commitment, okay, in your chart. So this is a very fun thing. This is very good. This could be very wonderful for you. And so Venus retrograde in this department, we're going to be reevaluating a commitment, reevaluating a love, or even trying to get a new love in this, because this is your love zone, okay? So you are basically getting all of this energy jam-packed in that area. And this is really what we're talking about here, is Venus retrograde which is our love life, in your marriage zone. So that's like, you know, you got double love going on there at the same time. So yeah, you're reevaluating the rules of marriage, the rules of partnerships in your life, and all of that is getting reevaluated. I said lucky, maybe if you're reevaluating your marriage, that doesn't feel so lucky, but it is a good zone to be in, I guess, if you're going to be getting some love lessons. This is a good zone because you're going to be right in the heart of the love lessons with this. Now, Leo and Aquarius are opposite of each other. How Aquarius tends to love is a little bit more impersonal, a little bit more like a friendship, or a little bit more, you know, kind of impersonal in that way, where Leo wants to feel special, super duper special, and I am the chosen one, and I am the, you know, whatever. And so it's about learning how to make somebody feel that way, about, you know, kind of putting yourself out there a little bit and helping another person to feel like they are the special person, not just like this universal love, you know, kind of like Valentine's Day that takes place during Aquarius season. It's like, I love everybody. Well, sometimes people need to feel just a little bit more special than that. And so that is your love lesson coming up during this Venus retrograde. Now, we have the north node of the moon went into Aries. Aries and Aquarius get along very well. It's fire and air. Fire needs air, so that's a good match. And so your north node of the moon for the next 18 months just moved into Aries and is going to be highlighting your area of communication during this time. So you're not only learning about, you know, marriage, but you're learning how to communicate effectively in your life in general. And this could even be a time of learning or growing, you know, increasing your circle and all that kind of stuff. This is a lot of activity in that department, but for sure communication is going to be a big, huge deal. Especially during this full moon on August 1st, it's going to be in Aquarius, in your sign. So that's going to be even stronger. Like this is like your full moon of the year. It'll be the strongest full moon for you, and it's going to be all up in your Aquarius. So Aquarius rising, or if you're Aquarius sun, or if you even have other planets in Aquarius, this is going to be affecting you on a personal level. The sun will be in Leo, the moon will be in Aquarius. So this is your full moon, so to speak, and that's going to be a lot of extra energy to deal with. Now we get a little bit of a hot spot between August 7th and August 10th when we have Venus highlighting Black Moon Lilith, and we also have Uranus. There's something going on in your area of home and family, which has been sort of stirring up the pot. You've been feeling a little bit maybe anxious about your home and family, maybe not entirely settled in your home and family, maybe even thinking of even moving or buying real estate or doing something like changing up your home life. And so this has been going on, but now we're getting a real, this could be a fight with your partner. This could be you thinking of moving. So we like really want to be very mindful and very careful during this August 7th to August 10th, because it could be ouchy and things could really spin out of control a little bit. Like if you get into an argument with your partner, it could go from like little to like over the top in a very short time. So you just want to watch that sort of time frame. But we do get into this new moon and also some healing vibration coming from Chiron. And that's going to be between August 12th and August 17th. Now, again, the new moon is going to be in Leo, which is your opposite sign. So for you, this new moon might feel a little bit like a full moon. It might be like, oh, she said new moon's supposed to be fun, but this feels little bit more than that. Well, that's because this full moon, like you're really, Aquarius, you are really crunched into the heart of this, you know. Leos and Aquariuses are really crunched in because you guys are in the heart. Even through the opposition, you're feeling this as well. So this new moon, though, is still powerful, and it's still good for manifesting, especially since the new moon is taking place in your area of marriage. So this can be a rebirthing of like where we just had a little trouble and a little hot spot. all of a sudden now we can turn things around and we can like renew ourselves in this area of partnerships and marriage. So that's a good thing. Now, where things get a little out of control or a little too much of a good thing, yes, that can happen again, is back into this area of home and family. And that's coming between August 21st to August 24th. Like you might be wanting to like move and buy a mansion, you know, like you're overdoing it. Like there's too much going on, but it's okay to daydream every once in a while. I feel like that's, you know, it's good to dream. It's good to have goals. It's good to have aspirations. And I don't think there's any harm in that. Just make sure when it comes time that you really run the numbers and figure out what you want to do. But, and you might just really want to be around family now, or have like, you know, a reunion or something. That could be fun too. That would be a good, thing for you. But whatever it is, it doesn't feel like it's bad. And that's between August 21st to 24th. Now, you do have Mercury retrograde starting. That's coming on August 23rd in Virgo. It's going to last until September 15th. And that's going to be affecting your area of, you know, intimacy and all that kind of stuff, which I was just talking about with Capricorn when I did that broadcast. So I feel like this Mercury retrograde might be a little intense, because when you get communication in that department, that can be intense, but it's learning how to be a little bit more vulnerable. You and Capricorns both tend to have a little bit of trouble talking about your deep, intimate feelings. And this is that department. It's like raw and naked and unafraid, you know, and it's like, that's a hard place to sort of expose yourself, but that's where your Mercury retrograde is going to be. Now, this full moon coming in Pisces. Pisces is your neighboring sign. That's going to be on August 30th. And that's going to be in your area of money. Okay. So it could be a good full moon for you. Remember, full moons are a peak or a wrapping up or an ending, a culmination of a cycle. So, I mean, you could end up getting some money, but that's big money moves on that day, okay, around that time, that full moon. So that could be good. Just keep in mind that Mercury retrograde is going to be active at that point. So I'm going to pull a card for you, Aquarius or Aquarius rising. What do you need to know about this Venus retrograde cycle? What do you need to know that can really guide you? Oh, this is perfect for you. All things in moderation. Like I said, you're like kind of in the heart of this. Leo is as well. You and Leo both. All things in moderation. You have to just remember not to go too far all the way one way, too far all the way the other way. It is going to be in your marriage, so things could spiral out of control, like especially if there's like a little fight or a little argument. So you just want to reel it back. You don't want it to go all the way up, you know. Yeah. You don't want to blow up anything, throw the baby out with the bathwater, so to speak. So all things in moderation and you will be good. Hello, and this one's for you, Pisces sun or Pisces rising sign. This is your Venus retrograde astrological forecast for 2023. All right, Pisces, you guys have everything going on in your area of habits, health, and your coworkers. There's been a lot of energy there, and you're continuing with that, and including this Venus retrograde cycle. This one is tricky, I'm just gonna say, because having Venus in this area means that your partner, if you're married or if you have a partnership, could be irritating you in your day-to-day cycle. Like, in other words, they're not taking out the trash, or they're not sweeping the kitchen floor, or whatever thing that is like usually their thing, and your cohabitation and like kind of your little groove of what you do together, that could be off right now. Also, you could be needing to focus on like having a healthy habit with your partner. Like maybe your partner's eating cheeseburgers every night and you want to like eat salads. You know, it's about trying to get on the same page. Like you guys are a little bit out of groove right now. Now, if you're single, Pisces, and you're looking Ooh, this is not the most romantic time for you. I'll just say that. It's more of a work sort of time. And like I said, building habits and taking care of your health. And where's the love at home? You know, like where is that love at home? Because you and your partner might not be like in the same groove. It's like you're a little out of groove. Now, obviously going into this, if you have been having really deep problems with your daily life and with your partner, that obviously needs to be really considered and worked on. But this could just be a temporary Venus retrograde thing. It just depends on what's going on in your personal life. Now, where the north node of the moon just moved into is actually your financial department. So good news, Pisces, you got some money coming in the next 18 months. You are about to work on this big money cycle. So you have some real money coming in, but you want to make sure that this is not at the expense of your health or the expense of your, you just might be working too hard, Pisces. There's a lot of work going on. And honestly, this is kind of a boring area of life. Like it's just like the drudgery of everyday living. And you might be feeling that with your partner. Like there's a drudgery every day, like it's sort of day in and day out, taking care of the kids, taking care of the lawn, whatever thing you have to take care of. And so cohabitating and having that day to day is a little bit ouchy. Now, when we align with the north node of the moon, like I said, it means money, especially between July 21st and July 26th. This is a great money time for you. Really wonderful, especially if you have a lot of communication to do, even around the 26th, 27th, and 28th, around communicating. That would be a wonderful thing for you to do. Now, when we get into this particular full moon on August 1st, this is going to be in the sign of Aquarius. And for you, this full moon might be a little yucky. Like you might be feeling run down. You might want to I almost feel like Pisces, you want to just be alone on an island somewhere. Like I'm getting a vision of like the hermit card. Like you just want to be like, please leave me alone. Like I just don't want to deal with this. That's your full moon on August 1st. So just so you know, if you feel a little funky and a little out of sorts, that is why, because it's a more spiritual full moon. It would be good if you went to like a yoga class or, did some kind of retreat instead of forcing yourself to be, working or doing something like that. Now, we get into that hot spot. I keep talking about that. August 7th to August 12th, Venus is going to form a conjunction with Lilith, and then Venus is going to form a square with Uranus. There is real communication problems here, Pisces, for you in this period of time. So you really have to watch yourself. And this could even be a piece of weird news about your health. So again, you want to take this seriously, and this is something that you really want to work on, Pisces, because this is your big life lesson anyway right now is working on health, especially with Saturn going through your sign in Pisces. During this next 2 years, you really have to watch your health and your habits and all these things. So this is just another reminder of that. Again, August 7th to August 10th. Now, you have some healing coming. You have the new moon in Leo coming. Good news is that the new moon is in your area of health too. So right after you get through this like sort of hard patch, then we get into this new moon, which is like a reset, a rebooting of the computer. And now like it's not an eclipse, but at least it's like a reset. We're hitting the reset button in this health department. So anything that you need to work on with your healthy habits and whatever, or even this could be a co-working or like a work environment situation, all of that is your new moon. That's going to be on August 16th. Now it's going to be in Leo, and Leo is a fire sign. So that sometimes can feel a little bit weird, even though it's a new moon, that's positive, but it could still be good for you. It could still be very good and healing because again, there's a lovely trine with Chiron during that time, and that can really help you. Now, where do things get out of control? Well, you know, we have too much of a good thing is coming in this area of communication again. As we get down to August 21st to August 24th, we have Venus in Leo forming a square with Jupiter in Taurus, and that's happening in your area of communication. So again, we're going to be having to watch ourselves. You really have to be clear about your communication, especially since Mercury at that time is also going to be going retrograde on August 23rd in Virgo. Virgo is opposite of Pisces. So you're really going to be pushed to be very clear and very accurate with what you're saying. Make sure you read dotted line. Make sure you read contracts. Make sure you're really understanding emails. This is all very, very important because Mercury retrograde is communication, and it's happening in your area of it's actually going to be in your area of marriage. But I really feel very strongly that communication is a thing with you, especially since we're having that square with Jupiter in your area of communication. So like you have two different communication things. Now, August 23rd to September 15th in Virgo is Mercury retrograde, and that's in your area of marriage. That could be problems with your marriage partner if you have a marriage partner. If you're looking and you're single, get yourself off of those apps. Don't do it. Don't do it. Get off the apps during that time. Exes could come back for sure, because this is ex-partners. Dealing with exes, if you're embroiled in some kind of a breakup, you know, dealing with exes, things like that, it could be coming back during that time. But this is a very powerful time, very powerful Mercury retrograde. And at the worst, you know, I usually see partners bicker if Mercury is going through a marriage area, and if you have a spouse or a partner, I do see bickering happen. So you just want to be very careful and clear about your communication. I'm going to pull one card for all of you Pisces rising or Pisces sun signs out there. What do you need to know? Okay, in reference to this Mercury retrograde, what do you need to know? Okay, make a plan. If you look at how I was saying how this Venus retrograde is in your area of like day-to-day life, you know, it's like you got to come up with some kind of plan, and each thing has its own, you know, deal. You have to kind of balance all this. Like, it's a lot when you have this area of your chart so activated and so highlighted. It's a lot of things. I mean, it's your habits and it's your, like, what you do every day. I mean, like, a lot of us do a lot of things every day, you know, like, we gotta like take care of the kids, we gotta take care of the pets, we gotta take care of our house, we gotta take care of others, you know, like whatever thing it is that you're doing. So this is like, make a plan, because you gotta like balance all this stuff, Pisces, and that is going on in your chart. In conclusion, for this Venus retrograde for all 12 astrological signs, and again, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. I love talking to you all, and stay tuned for more videos like this, and make sure that you like and comment below your astrological sign, and maybe even if you know where Venus is falling for you or how you experience Venus retrogrades. I'd love to hear that feedback. All right, everybody, namaste, take care, bye.